Hello everyone and welcome back to another Satisfactory tour. So what we're going to be looking at today is a storage building that I actually made for fluids. So fluids came out in update 3 and then we all had to figure out different ways to store those different fluids and keep it organized and all that kind of good stuff. So the base that you're going to see today is actually a base that I've been working on in my new creative series that I'm doing on this game. And so that's why some of the stuff you're going to see here today is using mods, but then I'm trying to use as much vanilla stuff as possible, but then kind of throw in the mods here and there for more aesthetic purposes. So the building we're going to be looking at today is, like I mentioned earlier, a fluid storage building, but also a refinery at the same time. So I shared a couple pictures of this on Reddit, and a couple people didn't know that you could actually color pipes, but then also dual stack these storage buffers. So I'm going to show you guys the layout that I currently have and how it's all working, and then I'm going to walk you through the refinery process that's on the other side of the building as well. So I guess we should start at the very beginning. We actually need to start at our train station because the train station is where we're actually pulling in all of these fluids, taking it into our storage facility. So we can actually see here is the train station for fluids, pulling it up out of these, and then up into these racks that then we're going to take and follow all the way to our building. So pretty much the way this is going to work is the way I have my base laid out is I have all this underground space that I can route pipe but also conveyor. So what we're going to do is just follow this pipe all the way down to our storage facility. And this kind of design works really well, and you'll see why, especially when we get to the interior of our actual storage building. So we just keep following this pipe all the way down, and you can see the first 4 branch off here to go into the first part of the storage facility, and then the next 4 go down a little bit farther and go into another one where we go into the facility here. Now we're back on top. Now you can actually see these foundation frames. What we're actually using is 8x1 foundations, and our pipe is literally right underneath this floor, which is why you can kind of see the frames coming through. But then what you can see here is where we have the pipes coming in. This is the first one that we were looking at with the 4 pipes coming in underneath our walkway to get from both sides of the building. Then you can see that each one, so we have 2 and 2, they branch off to go into their respective directions. And what we're actually doing is bringing these to our storage buffers that we have here dual stacked. So again, you can dual stack these. So if that was something that you did not know, you can dual stack these, and it's very, very useful to save on space. I think in this total building, I have 56 storage buffers in just this one building. So we have quite a bit, and there's probably going to be another building in the future as well. And we also have room for future expansion to account for. And so what we're doing is we're making a 90-degree turn with this first pipe, and we can kind of see here is the way I'm using this is I'm kind of branching off, trying to maintain as little pipe routing as possible while still keeping it organized. That's why we're branching off here, but then branching off again and again to go up. Now, one thing I'm still not sure on is with some of these vertical pipes, if I will need a pump to get it up there. I don't think I will because it's not going up vertically too high compared to some other ones that you might need the pumps for. So that's something I still need to test, but if I do need to get power to this, it should not be a problem because this building doesn't really use any power on this side at least. On the other side we will, but then on this side, since we're just using storage buffers, we don't really need to worry about it. And then what you can actually see is our in feeds with our oil are here. And so I guess to also mention, I'm actually transporting oil in the white pipes. And you might be wondering why I color coded it white. And the reason why is I tried color coding it black. I just didn't like the look of how dark the pipe looked. So I wanted to give it something else. And that's why you're actually going to see like this darker white. It's not like pure white. You can see the pure white on the floor, but it's like a darker mixed white, I guess. And that's what I'm using for my oil. But then over at the other side, we're actually carrying 2 pipes with water because we will need water for some refinement here in the near future as well. So that's what the blue will be. So the blue is water. That's kind of representative to what the color actually is. But then just so you're wondering, the white is oil. So what we're actually going to be doing is coming in and we're branching off like we just showed. But then on our discharge, what we're actually doing is taking the crude oil out of these storage buffers. You can see this one's going up. And on top of these storage containers, or not the containers, but the storage frames is what I'm calling them. And then we actually have the ones on the inside as well over here. So over there, we actually get some more inside the actual pipe, which I can show you. But then I'm just trying to show you some of the basic routing that I am using right now. So what we do when we're up top is then we're going to come to these other storage containers that we have, and then we're actually going to drop down and connect to these lines. It just allowed us to make it a little bit more clean to have these drops be perfect 90s and just access these 2 lines that we have running vertically right here. And so that's actually what we're doing. And then we're going to follow this line into this walkway area. So this walkway area is still in the same building, and the reason why is actually here is you can see these foundation frames. If I do need to transport pipe out from the refinery, I do have this ability to do that, which we actually are using towards the other end of the building. But up top you can see these 2 pipes coming through And then on the other side of this wall, we start to see our refinery system. So the refinery system that I have here is mainly making 3 different items. We're making plastic, and then rubber, but then also fuel, which all 3 of those just use the crude oil. So you can see up top here, we have the 2 different pipes. Now these 2 different pipes are feeding a total of 8 different refineries, so 4 each. So you can kind of see here that we're dropping down. And one thing I'm really happy with is if you look all the way down this line, you can see that all the pipes dropping vertically to the machines are all in line. So it's very, very organized. Again, the dark white is oil. But then over on the outfeed, what you can actually see here, I'm color coding the pipes according to what it actually is pulling out. So if we actually come into the machine here, you can actually see that we're going to be pulling out purple fluid. So I wanted to color code the pipe purple for that reason. But then over at the other end where we're making fuel, it's actually orange because the fuel is orange. So again, we're color coding the pipes to do that. But then we're also taking stuff out of the refinery that we are going to need. And we're going to bring that all the way down. And we're going to exit underneath this walkway system over here. Which if I actually come back out, it brings us down to our conveyor level where we're going to actually can transport all the different conveyors that we do have. Which you can kind of see the similar system. If I fly back all the way over here, all this underground area is just for pipe and conveyor routing. So you can kind of see all of it over here that we have so far, but we're going to have so much more the more we just keep building and expanding this base. So kind of going back into our building, what you can see here is we just have the pipes that we were just showing off coming from the storage facility, but then we're transporting these into here. And then once we hit this 8th one, we're actually going to branch off into, I need to add a pipe there, I just realized. But once we branch off, we have a different line coming in this way where we have 4 pipes. So 2 on top, 2 actually in the frames themselves. And it's actually very much the same system. Each one is feeding 8. And then you kind of branch off to the next pipe after the 8 are done. And so pretty much that's all we're doing is just continuing that. You can see these are dropping down here the farther we get down. And again, we're just feeding into the machines. Now, one thing you will notice as well is these purple pipes and these orange pipes. They're actually on top of the frames. Now, what we actually need to do is, since those are fluids, we still need a place to store them. So what I actually did was I took 3 blocks here just to put 2 more storage buffers. Well, I guess a total of 4, 2 on the ground, but then they're dual stacked. And so what we're actually doing is transporting those fluids that we're getting from the refineries into these. So the purple ones are going to be going straight to these. And then we're going to come through. You can see the pipes up there as well, kind of branching off. And then we're also transporting the purple ones into these. Now, we are going to be using more fuel than we're actually using here. The problem is that we have so many more refineries making the purple fluid that we need more storage containers for that. Now, we can later on with all the different plastic that we're making make storage containers, or I'm not even sure what they call them, like plastic containers, that we can actually compact a lot of this and barrel it up. But right now, we're not at that level because this is just like the first stage of the refinery process. And then what we're actually doing is then taking our fuel and then storing it into these containers as well. And then to get it out, because we will need to transport this to different facilities, here's what I was talking about earlier, where we're using these foundation frames to kind of transport it out underneath. And where we're actually using that walkway space in between is right here. You can kind of see it. So if I actually delete this 8x1, you can see that we're transporting pipe underneath this entire building. So it just allows us to have that extra flexibility with all this different stuff. So that's why we have like the water one here, because we are going to need to transport water to the second stage of the refinery process later on. So it's just a lot of small stuff like that that I'm trying to think of as I go, and I need to fix that. But yeah, that's pretty much what this building looks like, guys. I think it looks really good. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I mean, the storage facility itself, it's just super clean, super organized. All the pipes are easy to follow. Nothing is like, too crazy. Everything has a purpose. I tried to use as many 90-degree bends as I could. And then we also have some extra storage facilities here, or storage containers, just to allow us to use more crude oil in the second stages of different items. So I think we have everything fully covered. Again, I think we have 56, probably actually closer to 60 because of the other 4 on the other side. So we actually have quite a bit here, guys, and it's pretty impressive. I really love how this looks. It's turned out great. But then the other thing I really love is all the small details that I did try to add. Now, by small details, what I mean is like the color coding of pipes. But then one thing I love doing with some of my buildings, and this is something I suggest doing, it doesn't do anything to your building except just like a nice aesthetic, is anywhere I have stacks, I like to try to make an access to the open air, because if it is in an enclosed building, it wouldn't be realistic to just have it be enclosed without any way to vent all of it out. So I took these inverted ramps and then just made this small little, exit for all of the steam to actually come out, or all the excess gas. So it's a lot of small stuff like that that I try to love to think about, and even like these small access platforms going all the way down. I just love trying to think of this stuff to make it feel as much of a factory as you would see in real life as possible, and that's what I love trying to do. To me, that's just so much fun. Same thing on this side. Using these foundation frames is so useful because it just feels realistic, and then you can use them for so much, for transporting, for organization, and just getting stuff around. But yeah, that's about it, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below, and I'm excited to see what you guys have to say. And yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next, and I will see you guys for the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.